to the podcast. I'm your host, Brother Sean Brumfield, and this is Pulpit to the Pew, and I've got Brother Ryan Brown with me.
Hey, everybody.
What's going on, brother?
Man, there is so much stuff going on. I don't know whether I'm coming or going.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How long is it today?
Well, today was the first day that I actually said I'm not scheduling anything. Like, I was like, yeah, we're just going to sit down. We're going to do some work around the house and try to take her easy. There's been a lot of stuff going on at the church.
Yeah.
Good. Not,
Thank
you know, when you say that stuff, a lot of times people's like, I wonder what kind of drama is playing out now. No drama. No drama. A lot of good stuff going on. The Lord's really doing a lot of things. Some work potentially down the road.
Yep.
You know, then
TBA.
Then on summer vacation, pick up some side jobs. Plus, my honey-do list grows every single day.
Mine too.
You know,
I don't hit that one very much.
Yeah, me neither. It's kind of funny. You know how they say that a mechanic's car never runs, you know, all that kind of stuff. So electrician background.
Yeah.
I've got so much electrical work in my house. I was like, I'll get it tomorrow.
Let me ask you this. I have a hard time just stopping and like being mindful that, oh, maybe I should pick that up. Maybe I should do that. But like, to me, the house is clean, spotless.
Yeah.
But to the wife, she told me today, she goes, my expectation is I want the house to look like nobody lives in it. I'm like, that's not a good expectation. So to keep me on track, I'm like, look, if you want something done, do not expect me to just randomly look at something and be like, I should probably do that. Like, so I have her write stuff on a whiteboard.
That's pretty funny. So we do write things down for our kids. Now, it is because me and my wife have a different understanding of what is clean. So to me, what is clean to her is just picked up. Like it's maintainable. It's not. We live in our home.
Yeah, you know, that's what.
I mean, I've got 4 kids. We live in our home. We have a dog. We live in our home. In fact, our life our home is typically a place where we just drop our stuff and leave, and a place where we sleep and eat dinner. You know what I mean? It's not, for the most part, our life is on the road, whether that's healthy or not, or whatever the case may be. It is what it is. It is what it is.
Yeah.
So when we have people over, when I look around, I'm like, hey, I mean, the house is clean. And my wife's like, no, it's picked up. You know, there's more in depth to the cleaning. So it is kind of funny. We have those conversations all the time about what the difference is between what is picked up and what is actually clean.
Like, I get you're going to have a bunch of people over and you want it spotless.
Yeah.
But like, I'm just going to admit it. When you and John come over, I'm just kind of like, they're family. Like, I just, whatever. So if they see that, it's like, I don't care.
That's the other thing that's actually kind of funny, because I have that mentality too. Like, obviously, you know, I'm never, my house is not a pigsty. You know, on a bad day, it can get out of hand because with all the kids and with all the running.
Well, you get through a week of revival or something like that.
Right, something like that. It can get out of hand even farther than anybody would like to go. Not that it's ever dirty or anything of that nature. It's just not up to that spot where you like it. But with that being said, there are some people where I'm like, it's just them. You know, I don't mean that in any disrespect at all. It's just a comfortability.
I think I looked at the other day. John just walks right in the house, and I'm like, cool. You come, you knock. I'm like, why does Ryan knock? Like,
I can walk in the only house that I can ever walk into without knocking is my mom and dad's house.
Yeah.
Everybody else I'm knocking.
Yeah.
You know, it's just
courtesy, I guess.
I don't know. It's how I was raised, maybe. I don't know.
Oh, I take that back. John does knock most of the time. It's his kids that like. But yeah, I get like if you're unannounced, and visiting, but like if you're expecting people to come over, might be a little different. Maybe not.
Back in the day, they used to like you had that old school neighborhood type feel in those small towns. People just walk in
into the house,
come in over unannounced and all that stuff. I don't like unannounced guests.
Yeah,
I mean, if it's family, it's one thing. Like if my parents come over and they don't have to call me and be like, hey, by the way, we're coming over. If I'm home and they know I'm home, they can come over at any time they want to. My brother and sister is the same way. Family, it doesn't bother me none. If it's just some random person, it's like, oh, hey, we were in the area. We just figured we'd stop by. I'm like, that stresses me out to no end.
I don't think I've ever had anybody just like say or just pop in.
I've had extended family, not necessarily on my side, that it's like all of a sudden we just showed up unannounced, didn't know you were there. And then they like to stay for 8 hours. And it's like, oh, I love you guys. Can you leave?
Go home.
Like, I want, I'm actually spending time in my house. I'd like to actually enjoy my house,
Trying to get away from society.
Yeah. Like Becca's mom, she doesn't have to, she can just come over whenever she wants to. Like, none of that stuff bothers me. In fact, they know how to get in my house. If they open up the garage door and come on in, I'm just going to be like, the only thing that I'm like is just make sure that, I'm not in my pajamas or something like that.
Yeah. Make sure I'm decent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's kind of funny.
There's so many people I think that has a key to my house.
So nobody has a key to
really?
Yep. I have all my keys, but I have the code to my garage. So so many people know the code to my garage.
So both of our parents have keys, and then my brother has a key, and then I think the dog sitter has a key. Yeah. There's a couple.
Yeah.
Probably more than there probably should be.
Yeah.
I don't know. I probably should have wrote that down.
It happens. Yeah. You should keep a list for that. How many keys do you have out? Well,
I didn't make any more. Just kind of.
Oh, man. So today's June 15th, right? The day of this coming out?
Yes.
So June 15th is Go Fly a Kite Day.
You know what's funny? I think we had an episode last year that was June 15th.
Maybe we did. We could have. I've actually got a kite in my garage that my daughter built. We might have to see if I can get it to fly.
Did you do that as a kid?
Once.
Really?
Yep, just once.
My dad used to take us. Oh no, okay. We were a day after.
A day after?
Yes.
Well, I'm not going to look up June 16th stuff. But yeah, so today, or the day that this episode comes out, it's Fly a Kite Day, which also coincidentally falls on Global Wind Day. I mean, I guess you kind of have to have one work with the other. You can't fly a kite without the wind.
It's too bad it's not on Wednesday.
Justice for Janitors Day.
Okay.
I didn't know that was a thing. Magna Carta. What is Magna Carta? I can't remember.
I remember that phrase.
I remember the phrase too. I just don't think that I've ever looked it up. So Magna Carta Day, National Electricity Day. So every time you plug in, just be thankful for that electricity. Here we go. National Kiss a Wookiee Day.
I don't think my wife would be too happy.
No, mine neither. National Lobster Day. I can go for some lobster.
Okay. The Magna Carta is Latin for Great Charter, a landmark document in human history issued in 1215 that first established the foundational principle that no one, not even the reigning monarch, is above the law.
Okay.
I will do a shout out on for the 16th though. That's my cousin Drew's birthday, and he's a faithful listener. So happy birthday, Drew!
Happy birthday tomorrow. So National Lobster Day, also coincidentally National Megalodon Day.
Dude, maybe we ought to talk about the Megalodon.
National Smile Power Day, also known as Power of a Smile Day. So I have been known to annoy some of our teenagers at church, especially specific ones that like to give you one of those looks or kind of roll their eyes because they're turning into teenagers.
Yeah.
Some of them are my kids. And I have been known to sing not necessarily a Christian song, but put a smile on your face. It makes the world a better place.
I tell them all the time, I'm like, it takes 13 muscles to frown and 3 muscles to smile. Yeah. I'm like, be lazy.
Yeah, be lazy. Exactly.
I'll do that too. Like if we're up on the pulpit playing music or something, and they just look at me with this glare, I will do something totally stupid.
Well, you've watched my wife when they used to sing in choir.
Yeah.
they used to do what we would call the Sunday school song.
Yeah.
And she's sitting in the back of the row. And I think all the adults were laughing. The kids were still kind of just like, oh, you're just some old person that's doing something goofy, But yeah, like smile. I love smiling.
I have smile marks on my face.
Yeah, me too. A lot of lines. It's not from old age.
Just a jolly fellow.
Just jolly. With a belly like a full bowl full of jelly.
That's more like pudding.
Pudding. Bowl full of pudding. Anyway, moving forward, Native American Citizenship Day. Nature Photography Day. Have you ever been one for photography? That seems like a growing fad.
I went through a phase when the iPhone X came out,
and
it put in a bunch of like cinematic filters that you could put on. Like you could that's like when like YouTube videos now when it'll be focused on somebody's face and the background's kind of like blurred out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's cool.
Yeah.
But
I got into that kind of stuff, like taking like pictures of.
Okay. So speaking of filters, don't take a picture of yourself and post it for everybody so that nobody would know that it's actually you. Like some of these people, man, they filter themselves to death. And then when you meet them in real life, when you meet them in real life, you're like, nah, that ain't you. Like I've been watching you on Facebook.
We had this woman at our work, and I won't say, she's of retirement age.
Mm-hmm.
And on our Teams call, there's this filter that like, it looks like makeup and eyeliner and stuff like that. And it's so funny because she is not aware of what's going on. She'll like move around so quickly and like you just see it ghost. It's like the makeup will be on her cheek or this, that, and the other. I'm just kind of like, you're supposed to sit still.
Yeah, turn the filter off. I've met some people where I'm like, so who is that? Because, you see them. We live in a day where friendship, agree with it, disagree with it. I think it's stupid, but friendship isn't just an online deal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But anyway, friendship now is based on whether or not you're friends on Facebook. But there's people that I've seen that my wife's wife knows or that I know we grew up with or whatever. And you like watch them through the years, you know them through the years. And then when you see them in person, it's like, look, okay, what you're doing to yourself. And then when people see you, it is like, drastically completely different people because you're filtering yourself out. Like this is how I look. Filters is not going to make me any better. It is what it is. I would rather people know the real who I am, how I look, than to come up and be like, oh my goodness, what happened to you?
So like I don't get that. That's one of the things that throws me for a loop with makeup. Like I've seen these people do like these. Like they'll take somebody who's extremely overweight, add some contour lines and stuff, and they will look thin in the face.
Yeah,
and it's like,
oh, I've seen that.
It's like, wow.
Yeah,
like, it puts a whole different message to Two-Faced.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
I have seen that too, where it's like yeah, you're a little bit heftier than your picture portrayed.
Or they show you at first, you're like, oh, this person's kind of pretty. And then they like show you how they got there. And you're like, oh my Lord.
Yeah. Yeah. I know an individual and I won't say names, but they did a filter and like announced something for their church on this filter. So it wasn't like makeup or anything like that, but it was like de-aging. So it made the individual look like they were 20 years younger. And I know the individual, and it was hard. I couldn't watch it all because they were like making this announcement and I was rolling because I'm like, yeah, that's just not you.
Do you think that, well, it's probably too biblical for a question, but do you think that falls in line with makeup?
I think that if you're trying to alter how you look online
purposely,
when we're dealing with something in the online world, obviously there's a whole set of different rules. So it is one of those deals. I don't know. I do think it's one of those deals of like, if you can go out and you can say, look, I'm not going to do anything. I'm natural. I'm not wearing makeup. I'm not going to try to modify what God has made me. Obviously, when you get into the health standards and stuff like that, yeah, we're supposed to take care of ourselves. We're not supposed to let her, all that stuff aside, I'm not modifying. I'm not makeup and all that stuff. What's the difference in doing that and then taking a picture, posting it online, and trying to make myself look
right
different from what I am? You know, am I going to say somebody's going to hell because they did something like that? Absolutely not.
I think it's crossing the same line.
I think it portrays the problem that people have in their self-image.
Yeah.
You know, it shows that people cannot be comfortable with themselves even if they're taking a picture. I do think that's something like a self-esteem awareness, because whether we think so or not, we always say, you know, the world has this ideal look that you should portray.
Yeah.
You know, there's these ideal standards, stuff to that nature. And so we stand against that. And so when we take ourselves into the world like we're walking out or whatever, we're like, yeah, we're not going to fit those world standards. But when we take a picture and we go to post it on Facebook or something like that, it's like, well, that's not going to be the standard. You're still following into that image.
Yeah.
You know,
I guess I could see, well, I'll give you an instance. Like, so I took a picture for a professional photo to put on my business cards and face cards for when I'm going out there doing the insurance. And like the lighting was like awful.
Yeah.
And like I used the AI to do that. But like, let's say, I don't think I would be hurt if I had a blemish or something and like it like clean that out. You know what I'm saying? Like for that kind of instance, but just to go in and completely modify.
Yeah, if you're going to block a pimple for a professional thing that you're going to be sending out, and that pimple's going to be gone in a week anyway.
Yeah,
like that's nothing.
Yeah, but to like totally imagine yourself, I think that's kind of crossing the line as far as you're in the same territory as why it's pride. It goes back to
it does
like you made a good point there about. Pride, I think, shows itself in a lot of different ways.
Mm-hmm.
So is low self-esteem still a type of pride?
No, I don't think
that causes you to do that.
I don't think low self-esteem is a type of pride.
Because like it's like counterintuitive to what pride is.
I think low self-esteem is a tool that the enemy uses to beat yourself down.
Because I mean, to me, low self-esteem hurts your pride.
It does, but it makes you look down upon the person that you are. You know what I mean? Okay, so for instance, if you're somebody now, we've all met those people that they just don't care.
Right.
They wear, you know, like they don't try to dress themselves up. They're basically baggy clothes, you know.
Yeah. Or a couch potato.
Yeah, couch potato type look. There is a line between taking care of yourself and vanity, but at the same time, I do think that God expects us to take care of ourselves, you know.
To be presentable.
To be presentable.
Yeah, absolutely.
That somebody's going to have confidence that, because we are, whether we want to agree with it or not, we are judged according to our looks before anybody ever talks to us.
You want to fit the part. You know,
right?
And it's kind of like being prideful is very different when it comes to the versus being confident.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So like in school, I can remember them saying "dress for success" was a big thing that they used to say, and that was, you know, you don't come in look
like you just rolled out of bed.
Well, you not even just that. Don't come in looking like the position you are. Come in to be the position you want to be.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%.
And it's like, I think that's a pretty big difference because like, I think the Lord gives us a certain amount of confidence so that we can be successful. I mean, it's the Lord. He gives us everything that we need, you know, and we can do that, but we have to be able to walk in that. You know what I mean?
Correct.
And so that's that confidence, but that confidence comes from him.
Yeah.
You know, and that's not prideful. So I guess that's, when you look at the whole matter.
Yeah. You do have to take everything into a scope, a full scope. You can't just pick out one or the other. So,
and I'm not saying that to validate makeup for our listeners. That's not what I'm saying at all.
Right. It is self-esteem, especially low self-esteem, is definitely a tool. There's too many, especially today, young people. There's too many young people that don't have a high viewpoint in themselves.
Yeah.
And let's face it, there's a lot of adults that do it too. I've heard a lot of people put themselves down that, in fact, I even said one time about something, and man, my wife, she was like, you don't need to do that. You don't need to put yourself down. And I think about it a lot. I think about it in my life. If I'm going to tell my kids to be the best person that they are, don't look down upon yourself. Don't put yourself down. How can I portray that to them if the image that I always carry about myself is one where I'm tearing myself down and all that stuff? No, if I'm not trying, if I'm not working at it, if I'm not doing the best that I can, then there needs to be some critique, and there needs to be some, and something that we try to do every day is we try to better ourselves. I try to better my preaching. I try to better my knowledge. I try to better how I can interact with people. When I was in the electrical field, I had to learn on a consistent basis. And don't touch a tool and don't put your hand in a box if you're not confident in what you're doing.
Right.
But at the same time, though, that's a tool that is used, that self-esteem. So they need to be able to have confidence in themselves. But I've also seen the other end of the spectrum too, where
too confident,
overconfidence leads to arrogance.
Right.
So there is that line.
Well, and there's one of the things that we were taught in school was that confidence is 50% of the job.
Yeah.
It can't be anything, but it needs to be more than 25-30%, because without that extra confidence, whatever you're learning, whatever you're doing, it's not gonna. It doesn't matter how smart you are.
Right. You have to have that confidence.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you have to understand, I don't know it all.
Right.
I'm not the one. People know more than I do. People have more abilities than me.
Is that you have to have the knowledge to back up confidence. That's why they tell you it's a 50%, because it's a good enough number to where it's not over consuming.
Yeah.
And it's good enough to where you can stay in your lane and say, I can definitely do this, but we might have,
Right. And if you do have the knowledge to do it, don't be arrogant about it.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Still, I can't tell you how many, growing up in my day, how many young people that I've seen in a youth group debate older preachers. I'm talking older preachers that in my mind, there was no doubt the life that they were living. They had the power, they had the anointing, they had all this stuff, and they would debate them over simple biblical doctrine. But when these younger, don't get me wrong, as a young person, even now, I'm middle-aged. I'll claim that middle age. Carlos argues with me on that, but look, that's where I'm at. We're there, right? So I'm at that middle age scope. I'm still going to go to these older preachers and ask them questions, and I'm not asking them questions to try to debate them or defy them, or to. I'm looking for clarity. Why? Scripturally speaking, why? We've said that and we've preached that on here on so many different occasions.
Right.
But these individuals were going at these older preachers as if everything they said were wrong. Arrogantly, they would stand as if these young teenagers could stand with these seasoned preachers that were 60 years. And it wasn't stuff like, well, you just have to do what I tell you to do. It was like scriptural, doctrinal, very foundational things that were brought up. So, and 90% of those young men that I know that were doing that are either A, out of church completely, or B, in a completely different lifestyle than what they know to be true, and are defending or accepting things that are completely 100% against the Bible. And don't get me wrong, nobody's perfect. Not everybody knows everything and stuff to that nature. But at the end of the day, I guarantee you right now that, an individual like Brother Benny Sutherland, or, back in the day, Brother L.L. Collins, which was my wife's pastor, Brother Pascarella, individuals like that I have such high, and there's so many others that I can name. I'm not going to debate them as if I know more than what they know.
Yeah. That's the problem, is the debate. We had a young man that was from our public school that me and my brother knew very well, and he was coming to our church off and on quite a bit. but his background was that he was from the Church of Judah Tabernacle Shalom of Jesus Christ, or this crazy Judeo-Christian belief system.
Mm-hmm.
And he still carried the Jewish prayer beads around his waist and stuff like that. And we were in camp meeting with Brother Kevin Lloyd, and this guy just kept going on and on and on about how, God or Christ didn't fulfill the law. We're still waiting on that. And I have never seen somebody so patient.
Yeah.
To teach, to break down the scriptures. Brother Kevin Lloyd sat there with him for well over 4 to 6 hours. I mean, just we were there 2 a.m, and he's going through Romans, and he's like, this, I think it was Romans 8, I think is where it goes through, and it tells how, through the I think it's early Romans where he says, that the law taught me how to do good, and stuff, but through flesh it was weak, and there came a much better sacrifice, a better covenant, I think was the word. Yeah. And like he went through this whole thing, and that guy just he just wanted to fight. Yeah. He just wanted to argue. So that was one of the first times that I ever really seen somebody. I was like, man, I don't know as much as I thought I did. Yeah. Cause I'm really Kevin, I think he's a Fig Bee guy. Mm-hmm. And I mean, he's just intelligent anyways. He's that kind of person. So to watch him go through that, I was just I was taking notes. I was like, oh, this is weird. I'll have to remember that, Yeah. Yeah.
Brother Kevin Lloyd's one of those individuals that you can watch the wheels turning as he's preaching. Man.
Yeah. Yeah. He's getting it. He's getting it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is, like I said, I've never been one that's been against asking questions or people asking. If anybody thought that they could ask me anything, not that I'm anybody, I never find that to be a thing. But if you're coming at me as if you know more than me, I can't teach you anything.
And that's easy to tell.
You're not going to be able to, you're not going to have any help. It's just, like I said, I always tell my boys, you can do anything you put your mind to. And a lot of people fall out with that because they're like, technically, no, there are things that you'll never be able to do. You're right. There are things that they might not ever accomplish that they wish that they could. But at the end of the day, if they have that mindset that I can do whatever I put my mind to, then they're not going to sell themselves short either.
Yeah, it won't be that hard to accomplish.
Right. They can accomplish what they put the effort into accomplishing.
Yeah.
And then if it's an impossible thing that eludes them, there's nothing wrong with that. There's things that I wanted to accomplish that I haven't. Will I? More than likely I won't. But I'm very happy up till now with the life that I've lived. I've accomplished things that I never thought I'd ever be able to accomplish.
Yeah.
And
I have made more of the shots that I've tried than I have missed.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Right. But I did it with the thought process that I am always willing to learn.
And I'll tell you this. Most of the shots that I'd never made, that I took the shot of I never made, that's the right way to say that.
Mm-hmm.
Just was not the will of God.
Right.
And that's just one thing that you have to chalk it up to is
yeah.
And now looking back, I'm not a very old man, but looking back at the things that I had at the time really wished was successful in, it's like, man, I'd have lost God so quickly.
Yeah.
Because I just totally, I could have been, because it was just so far from him. There's just wasn't the lifestyle I wanted. Just wasn't, didn't involve him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for sure. There's things that, there's been times that if I could go back, and I say that a lot, if I could turn back the hands of time, I would have done this versus that. Hindsight's always 20/20, but at the same time, I don't regret taking the shots that I took.
Yeah.
Maybe if I could redo some of it, I would, but
I could have been a little bit more efficient with the stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, but you learn. I mean, that's all part of learning.
Yeah.
I accomplished what I did by the grace of God. It's all the glory always goes to God.
Right.
But in my life, the things that I've accomplished that I'm very proud of, and there's nothing wrong with that, I did it because at some point in my time, I made up my mind that I'm not going to just be comfortable. So at a very young, as a young married man, I went through, as far as work goes, one of the hardest things I ever went through. And I got laid off.
Right.
I was, at the time, I mean, I understand the politics of it all. It was 2006. The economy took a downturn, and I was the quote unquote low man on the totem pole. And so, that was pretty much it, is that I didn't have some of the skills that I needed to, or maybe I didn't show them that I was more valuable than the person next to me, or whatever the case may be. Because I know one of the individuals they kept, and I was like, man, I had more ability than them. But and I don't say that as an arrogance. I just know what my training is. I know what people said. I worked with these people. They preferred me over the other, but it is what it is. I got the pink slip, and I got let go. And this is at a time where there was like a $10 an hour oil change job, and like 400 people applied for that job because the economy was down. And I looked for work. I worked temporarily. I looked for work for over a year. And, like I said, I just happened to know some individuals that would let me have work when they came in. But other than that, it was unemployment and all that stuff. It was a very hard, trying time. I was young. I was married, had a house payment, had car payments. You know what I mean? And then in the midst of all that, the Lord answered a prayer and gave us the miracle. And we found out that Becca was pregnant with Ben through these courses. It wasn't 2006. It was 2008 into 2009, And so towards the end of 2000, or towards the beginning of 2010. So we find all this stuff out. I have no insurance, all that stuff. Well, then the company that laid me off called me back and said, we're slow, or we're getting busy, but we can't hire anybody. So we'll bring you in as a temp if you're not working. So I was like, well, okay. Well, then I at least left a good enough impression that they were willing to bring me back. So I worked that out. God moved in that situation and gave that to me. But when they hired me back on full time, I made up in my mind, I'm not going to be that same person that if there comes a time, I'm going to make it to where it's absolutely 100% difficult for them to get rid of me.
Right.
They had me in a cage building panels. I went from that, and I took it upon myself that I occupied a cubicle. I started learning how to do the computer work and the drawings and stuff like that. And then next thing I knew, I was training other people to do the jobs that, when they hired in new hires, they were putting them under me so I could train them how to do what it is that they needed to do. And some of those people are still with the company, actually in pretty high positions, being extremely successful. That's not a brag on me, but it took that. I can do whatever I can do, as long as I put my mind to it and I actually put the effort into it. So you kind of have to make up your mind, that again, that's not, you got to have the confidence in your ability, and you got to have the will, the desire to actually do it. You're not just, it's not just going to happen. Too many people are thinking, I'm going to get $1,000. It's just going to fall in my lap. No, unless you spend $1,000 on a lottery and you just happen to get a lottery ticket that wins. No, it's not just going to, you got to actually make up your mind to do it.
Right. Yeah. I can see parts of my life where it's kind of like being too confident. Mm-hmm. And not confidence brings forth being comfortable.
Yeah.
And I can see where I got too comfortable in what I was doing, wasn't relying on God, and kind of drifted away because of that being comfortable. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, went through those seasons of, it's like, okay, now I got to trust in you.
Yeah.
And that's the thing too, is you got to be cautious in the decision making, because if it draws you away from, if you're in, I can't say that this happens for people who are lost, but like, I mean, they already don't have a relationship with God, but in the church world, if you're saved and you start to draw away, he's going to ring some bells to try to,
he's going to get your attention
back. And some people, money isn't what affects them. They have to go through a sickness or lose a loved one.
Yeah.
You know, or even, you know, accidents, whatever it takes. But yeah, those are the things that change us and make us what he wants us to be.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it is. We definitely have to, in all our stuff, make sure that we're constantly trusting in him. And even with that, we're still going to go through things.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
You know, because if I never go through it, how do I know that I need to trust in him? It's never my ability. You know, like I said already at the start of this, everything that I've accomplished, everything that I've got in my life, everything that I have learned, it's all to the glory of God.
Right.
You know, every single bit of it. My family, my wife, my home, my job that I had at Schneider, now with the church, you know, none of it is me. It's all to the glory of God. I think God did have been a vessel that he can use, but it's taken some lessons to get here, and I know I've got more lessons down the road. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So.
Yeah. Right when you think you got it all figured out, he's going to flip the script.
Yeah.
You know, it's just crazy, the stuff that he puts you through.
Yeah.
To like get your attention.
Or shows you.
Yeah.
Or constantly has to remind you. You know.
Yeah. I'm a kind of person that once I get going on an idea, or I guess it's probably that addictive personality. Like, it's so easy for me to like get hooked on to something new.
And then
like,
devote everything to it.
Yeah. I'm terrible at that. Maybe it's just a man. I don't know if that's just a man's thing or what it is. Do you have that problem?
Sometimes.
Yeah. Like
time doesn't afford it for me as much anymore. When I was younger. Yeah. And money. So, because, you know, a lot of times the things that like I get hooked on to that is new takes a lot of money. I've got four mouths that are at home that expect food be put on the table, you know? So sometimes I'm not afforded that, but if I'm not careful, I can devote, you know, more time or, you know,
I say it all the
assets
time,
than I need to.
Like when I was looking to get a lawnmower blade, it was like every day, every time I had a moment, I'd even be in the shower listening, like, this lawnmower blade is blah, 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 blah. And my wife would come in and she'd be like, what are you listening to? Like, can we listen to something else? I'm like, I'm sorry, I gotta buy some. I just don't know what's the best one to buy.
Yeah. And I have done that. I have went down those rabbit trails. So I've looked for like new fishing poles or trying to learn a new one that I bought.
Yes.
Like bait casters.
Oh, dude.
You know, bait casters are tremendous fishing poles. But
I'm not a great bait caster.
No, me neither. But you know, I like to think that I can be.
Yeah.
And there's times where I get stuck on some things and I'm trying to learn something. Or I like cooking. I like grilling things out.
Yeah, I do too, yeah.
Okay. I love grilling out. And I do actually like cooking. My wife's a tremendous cook, so I don't want anybody to think that, you know, well, he's the one that takes care of it. I like doing it. We kind of share the duties because I do enjoy it, and sometimes we'll cook the meal together and all that stuff. A lot of times I'll get the stuff that has to be fried, and I have to fry it outside, you know, because she doesn't like doing that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Or the smoke. They don't like the smoke.
Or the smoke, right. So if I'm in one of those moods, I'm like, man, I wonder if I can find some new.
Yeah, something
new. So then I'm watching people, you know, go figure on this podcast. So we talk about food, say 80% of the time.
Yeah.
I'm learning like these new things. But it's actually kind of funny because there's times that I've actually been able to use what I've watched. And I'll be like, hey, like the other day I marinated a steak in Coke. Me and my wife's like.
Was it good?
Yes. But I didn't have a key ingredient. And I think it would be a whole lot better if I had it. So after doing it and cooking, it was as tender as all get out, man. Like cut it with a fork, melt it in your mouth, all that stuff. But it was too sweet because that Coke is sweet.
Oh, yeah.
You're supposed to mix soy sauce in it to give it that saltiness.
Okay. Yeah.
It kind of breaks that. Yeah, I overlooked that portion.
Yeah, I found a new one. I didn't find it online. Brother Nathan Bellows showed it to me. He takes zesty Italian, which I typically marinate my stuff in that anyways, but he puts Dell's steak sauce in with it.
With it?
Yes.
Huh.
And it mixes it, and it if you let it soak for I let it soak for 24 hours, your meat will come out brown.
Yeah.
Like the red's gone.
Right.
It'll come out looking, because it has its key ingredient is soy sauce.
Yeah.
So those two mixed together were pretty good. But I have learned through YouTube about 100 different ways to make ribs.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do that all the time. And I learned how to do turkeys and stuff like that. But yeah.
So
the deep dive in the YouTubes is
I watched
problematic.
I actually watched one today where somebody cooked a steak.
Okay.
And they covered the steak in mustard, which is actually something people use a lot with turkey or chicken.
As a binder.
And then they deep fry it.
Yeah.
Well, this guy put turkey on his steak, mustard on his steak, not turkey. Put mustard on his steak, and he put it directly on the coals.
Oh.
Of the
Ooh,
fire.
I don't know if I'd like that or not.
I want to try it. I've watched
Was
people.
it charcoal?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've watched people. Well, I think he had more wood chips than charcoal, but I've watched people do bread that way. Like Wilderness Survival created like this 2-ingredient bread, and once you got the dough, you just put it right on the coals.
Yeah.
You know.
I've been wanting to try the cookie dough on a stick over the fire.
Oh, instead of a s'more. Yeah,
that looks pretty good.
Yeah,
a smoked chocolate chip cookie. Oh. I will say, there's this guy. He made an apple pie in the smoker.
Yeah,
it looked phenomenal. He put in a cast iron skillet.
Yeah,
put it on in the smoker.
So we used to go camping all the time, and we used to make fried apple pies. You'd have those cast iron things, and you put all the things and stick it in there. Dude, outstanding.
I've never had those. But when I go to a gas station and I see an apple pie,
you got to buy it.
I have a hard time.
Yeah.
And it's kind of nostalgic because my grandma and my grandpa had them stashed away.
Yeah.
And if it was a good day and I don't know, you did hard work or something, they'd be like, come on back to Papa's stash. And he'd like hand you these apple pies. And it was just like, as a kid, it was like, I get a whole one by myself.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, my grandparents never had anything like it.
Really?
My grandma. So the one thing about like one of my grandparents is I could drink all the pop that I was never allowed just to drink pop whenever I wanted to at home. Most of the time it's because all they could afford was the 2 liters, and once the 2 liters was gone, that's it.
Yeah,
until a lot of tea. Drank a lot of tea growing up, and lemonade and the juice packets, what?
Like the Capri Suns?
No, that you mixed in the,
okay. Like
Kool-Aid. Kool-Aid.
Yeah. Oh.
Drank a lot of Kool-Aid.
At home, we drank a lot of Kool-Aid.
Yeah, because it was cheap. Yeah. Tang.
Oh,
Tang was it?
I was not a fan of Tang.
Oh, dude, I could tear Tang up, man.
The grandparents on my mom's side were not very much. I don't think they're very much pop people.
Yeah.
We drank. That's where I learned to drink coffee.
Yeah.
Was at their house. But my dad's side was a Diet Coke connoisseur.
Yeah.
She still is probably, I think.
Yeah. So pop was always available at one set of grandparents' house.
Yeah.
The other set of grandparents' house was, to be honest with you, I really don't remember what they had available to drink. Diet Pepsi, maybe.
Probably, yeah.
But not like, it wasn't at will.
Yeah.
A lot of milk. Drank a lot of milk, orange juice. And they didn't have a whole lot of sweets because they all had like sugar and stuff. So we would have like the sugar-free popsicles. But I would tell you what you got at Will, and it's so nostalgic. Some of the nastiest tasting candy ever. But my grandpa would give me handfuls of those little strawberry. I don't know what they're called. I always call them diabetic candy. But if you look at it, it's
the
like
glucose tablet thingies?
No, they're not glucose tablet. They're strawberry candies, and they've got the little mushy thing in the middle.
Oh, wait. They actually are like wrapped like a strawberry?
Like a strawberry, yeah.
I remember. I used to like those.
Yeah. I learned to love them.
Yeah.
And now I'll eat them and I'm like, man, these things are not that good, but nostalgia just hits you in the face.
For me, my grandpa always had a glass jar full of the orange like spice candies.
Yeah.
Sugar candies.
The sugar candies.
Oh my goodness.
Now my grandma always had and it was only during Christmas time, but we had that old lady ribbon candy.
Oh, okay.
And it was probably 50 years old because nobody ever ate it, And
I never had any of that.
Yeah, some of it's absolutely disgusting.
I had a friend at school, and his mom and grandma would make hardtack candy.
Mm-hmm.
That is some of the best candy.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Oh my goodness, dude. I mean, it's a 100% sugar,
Yeah.
but it's so good.
Now, my one grandpa, he was more of the, I'll fix you the meals. So
Yeah.
he didn't have a whole lot of sweets. They didn't have a whole lot of like I said, stuff of that nature. But soup, beans, cornbread,
Yeah, that's what my grandpa
fried
was.
cabbage, fried taters, that kind of stuff. All he would make. He had like a vegetable soup that was he would make. It was tremendous. Yeah. But the thing with him was there was a caveat to it. When my wife and I got married, my wife, her dad was under the belief that you didn't get full if you went out to eat and you wasn't eating at a buffet. And so they had to have the meats. They had to have all that stuff. So my wife, when we got married, my wife's thought process was if there's not a meat and a vegetable, it's not considered a meal. So soup beans to her was not a meal. Now, I was raised as soup beans, cornbread, fried taters. That was a classic meal. To this day, one of my favorite meals to eat. And so
especially if the soup beans have ham in it or ham bone. Oh, man.
So it's one of my favorite meals to eat to this day. Absolutely love it. I could tear up some soup beans. So my grandpa, he would call me up. I'd be coming home from work and I'm married, and my grandpa would call me up and be like, "Hey, I made some soup beans. You want to come get some?" So I'd be like, "Well, let me call Becca, make sure she doesn't have anything planned." So I'd call her up and she'd be like, "Yeah, just go ahead." And I was like, "All right, you want me to bring you a bowl?" "No, I'm fine." I'll bring a bowl home for me, So I'll be like, all right, call him back. "Hey, Grandpa, I'll be there. I'm on my way home from work. I'll just come straight there." And so I'd go in his house. Man, you just hit the cornbread, and it was never sweet cornbread. It was always savory cornbread. Yeah. The only way to make cornbread.
You didn't say it last time.
And it is.
At home.
Preferred.
At home, yes.
Preferred. I never make sweet cornbread. I can eat it, but anyway. So with that being said, but I would walk in and I'd be like, "Man, Grandpa," and I'm hungry because I just got off of work. I'm starving. "Man, Grandpa, it smells good. I can't wait to get some." Well,
I got you. I need you to do something for me.
Yeah. There's a flower bed that your grandma once dug. I dug a whole flower bed one time for like a bowl of soup beans.
Yeah. Yeah. My grandpa, he made us work in the garden a lot.
Yeah.
And then we would end up staying the night. Now, he didn't cook like dinner and stuff like that for us. His was breakfast. But my grandma, she would make chicken and dumplings to make you want to slap your mama.
Really?
I mean, that's probably the best thing she ever made besides her banana pudding.
Yeah.
And that was like...
Banana pudding.
Yeah, I know you don't like it, but...
Yeah. Actually, you want to know the truth? When I was a kid, I used to eat the stuff. My grandpa that made the soup beans, he would make banana pudding, and I'd eat it every year. And I loved it. I don't know. I really do think I have an allergy. Like my body created an allergy or something to bananas because the smell alone just makes me sick.
Yeah.
Now, my grandma... That was, that was my dad's dad. So my dad's mom, I don't ever remember her cooking. If I stayed with her and my grandpa wasn't there, because he did have to go travel sometimes, and she didn't like staying by herself, so I would stay with her. And there was one time I stayed an entire week with her, and that whole week I ate microwave dinners. Like my grandpa called me up, was like, "Hey, what kind of microwave dinners do you like? Because this is what you're eating." And that was fine. I accepted it. It was great. But what she did make was experimental. So she was the Jell-O mold type of person. And she made a fruit cocktail type salad.
Okay.
Like it had the fruits, the marshmallows, all that stuff. She'd make that kind of stuff. And she did that a lot. I don't know what do they call it? Like, I don't think it was like ambrosia or something like that, but it has a goofy name, what it was called. But I learned at a young age, you don't ever eat that, because if you ask her what she put in it, she'll say, whatever I could find. I really don't know. Like she would just, "Oh, that sounds good at the time."
Yeah, I couldn't do that.
Now her Jell-O mold, she never made the Jell-O with just water. It was always with a pop, like a Sprite or something like that. But if she ran out of that, she was just like, "This should probably taste the same." And she would...
That's cornstarch in there.
Yeah. So she wasn't necessarily the best of cooks, Now my grandma Sue, my mom's mom,
I've had some of her food. Yeah,
tremendous.
Absolutely.
And my mom's a great cook. My wife, that's why I'm as fat as I am.
I had a man over at our house not that long ago. My wife made some Mississippi pot roast, and we had the Texas Roadhouse rolls you put in the oven.
Yeah, and
they ate all of it. And when we got done, he looked at me and he said, "Now I know why you're a big man." I took that as a compliment for my wife and a kind of offensive for me, but hey,
yeah,
it made my wife happy.
When I got married, I was like $150, $155 at the most. That was where I was at. I was pretty scrawny, and in a year's time, I put on 30 pounds. Mm-hmm. So I went from 150, 155 to 180, 185, which was actually probably the healthiest that I've felt. Like I actually felt really good at that. If I could go back to that weight, which I'm working towards, maybe not the best, but I am working towards it.
I long to see that.
Yeah. But I remember going to a church that knew me as a kid, and me and my wife went out scheduled to preach, and we walked in. It was the first time they see me since I've been married, and one old lady came up to me, and she said, "We could tell you're happily married."
Yeah.
It's like, what are you trying to say?
180. I think I was 180 in the third grade.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
Even longer for me.
Well, guys, I hope you liked this episode. A little bit of serious in there, a little bit of funny. Let us know.
A little bit of food.
Yeah, a little bit of food. What was nostalgic for you and your grandparents? And what's your level of confidence? But thanks for listening. We'll see you guys next week.
See ya.